Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to mute all, but please unmute yourself if you have a comment or a question. That way we don't have any interruptions really during, but please, as you all know, and do not take to heart, we do love comments. So ask them, post your questions in the chat if you would like. But I am very excited for today's call. As most of you know, we have a new coach on our team, Maurissa. And actually, Maurissa, I feel like is it Candelaria or Candelaria?
Candelaria.
Candelaria.
Uh-huh.
So Maurissa Candelaria, it's like the most beautiful sounding name, is on our team, and she's incredible. For those of you that did not read her bio, she has nearly or over, would you say, 10 years of coaching experience?
A little bit over.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So a little bit over 10 years of coaching experience. And we chose her from 40 applicants that we had. She is incredible. And I think a few things that really stood out to me with Maurissa was just her empathy and her communication skills and how organized she is, as well as from a client standpoint, her client testimonials that she has and just different transformations in the last 10 years were incredibly impressive. And she also has not like just a really impressive list of credentials, but a couple that I thought would be really valuable to our community and things that we get asked about often is really just supporting women throughout every stage of their life. She is pre and postnatal certified, and then also a menopause specialist, and has good knowledge and education in regards to menopause, which we get asked about a lot. And then also a weight loss specialist. So that is a little bit about her. She's a mom of 3, lives in Nevada, and I thought we could just take a chance to kind of get to know her a little bit more and have her share some things with us about just history, personal, and then also as a coach. So I have some questions for her today. And if you have questions for her, then put them in the chat. And if we have time, we will definitely talk those through. So welcome, Maurissa. We're so excited to have you in the Hungry Fitness community on the team, and then also just in the groups and on the app.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I think I told Michaela when she offered the coaching position on Instagram, I think I applied within like 60 seconds of you
Yes.
posting it. And then I think I sent the video that you asked for like 10 minutes later. So I am so incredibly excited to be here with all of these other amazing coaches and just the community in general.
Well, we are so excited to have you. We will just kind of dive right in to questions. Okay, we talked a little bit about how long you've been coaching in the nutrition and fitness space, but what inspired you to coach, to be a coach, would you say?
Yeah, so I feel like my story might be a little bit different. I did not grow up an athlete. I didn't play any sports. I didn't grow up, eating healthy or even learning to. My mom actually grew up as like a supermodel. And so all I knew was like my mom was constantly on a diet. So my whole life I was like either binging or I was on a diet, eating as little as I possibly could. I got pregnant very young. So I got pregnant at 20. And after I had my first baby at 21, I couldn't get the weight off. I didn't know any other way to do it. So, of course, I did what I always knew and I starved myself. And again, I went through that binging, starving cycle that I had already been through. I ended up getting pregnant again at 24. And I knew after I had my second son, something needed to change. I felt awful. I had zero sex drive. I was always moody, no energy. And I finally hired myself a coach at 24, and he completely changed my life. I still get like teary-eyed talking about it. Just the way he was so compassionate towards me. In fact, even the tough love where he was like, if you're not going to do what I tell you to do, then this isn't the place for you anymore. Because, you're going back to old habits that aren't working. And he taught me that I could be strong and just really gave me the self-confidence that I never knew I could have. And so after that, I kind of jumped in head first. I got in all the certifications I could. I was coaching people for free. I ended up applying for the same gym that he worked at and coached me at. And then it kind of grew from there.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that anyone can relate to that in like some capacity. And so hearing your history and just what you have been through and overcome, and then also how you have turned that into something that you're passionate about helping others in is really powerful. So I love that.
Yeah.
And what would you say is what's something people might be surprised to learn about you?
So I feel like I'm pretty outgoing. I tend to talk a lot, my clients would say, especially on like check-in videos and stuff, but I'm actually a big introvert. I recharge my battery by like being by myself. And then my husband would probably tell you, the craziest thing about me is that I like wind down at the end of the night to like crime documentaries. Like I am a crime junkie. I listen to podcasts while I work out. It's a really like
I love it.
he was like, it's so weird that like your piece was in like crime documentaries before bed.
Psychology. You like to hear about the way people's minds work.
I guess.
Okay, what does a typical day look like for you at this stage of life?
Yeah, so I have three little boys, or I shouldn't say little, one's 15. But my morning I have to make sure to have a slower morning. That's how I really set up my day for success. I'm not someone that can roll out of bed and just get going. So I wake up at about 5 a.m. before my whole house. I love a quiet morning. I have my coffee typically outside, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll drink it on my walking pad just to get movement in and wake up. And that's really how I set up my day for success. I kind of hop on my laptop, get organized for the day, set up my schedule, and then run kids to school all morning long.
Yeah.
Get my
Yeah.
workout
Two,
in. I
two,
have,
what are your
yeah,
ages?
I have a 15-year-old in high school. I have a 11-year-old in middle school, and I have a toddler, a 2-year-old. So I
So
have
they're like all going at different times, right?
all different, and they play all different sports. They have all different schedules. So yeah, I have to be pretty organized. And then I get my workout in, and then the rest of the day is typically client check-ins, client discussions before the afternoon madness of sports.
Clocking into your carpool shift for
Yeah,
the night.
I
Yeah.
live in the car from like 3 to 7 every day.
Okay. Well, on that note, what are some of like your key things you do for success during the carpool shift in regards to nutrition and just like taking care of yourself?
So I am a big, and I wasn't until someone actually taught me this, probably 10, 11 years ago, but I am a big planner. So I actually set up my nutrition like Sunday nights. I'll go through, I'll make sure I have like all my snacks. I'm a big pre-tracker, especially if I'm like in a certain phase. And I will pack everyone's lunches. I usually have like dinner in the crock pot. I have a bag of snacks with me. Everyone's got waters, and again, you kind of have to go into it with a plan, because 9 out of 10 times it's like a game of Tetris. And if you don't, I feel like you're not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. What are some of your like what are 1 to 2 things that you will pack in your car that you like to have?
I always have Chomps beef sticks on me. Those are like my number one. I have Fairlife protein shakes all the time. And I love RX bars.
Same. That was my airport dinner last night, which was not my favorite, but what's your favorite RX bar?
Ooh, the strawberry. It
Oh,
tastes like a fruit roll up, and you can't find them at many stores,
no, I've
but it
never
is
had that.
incredible. It literally tastes like a fruit roll up.
Okay, I will have to all try that one. I was a big chocolate salt one fan because I just love chocolate salt, but I didn't love the bar. And then Griffin told me about, is it the blueberry? Yeah.
It's almond, vanilla almond is
Oh,
pretty money.
Ooh, that
okay,
one's good
that's what I
too.
thought. Yes, and I couldn't find it at the airport, so I had the blueberry one last night, and I
Yeah,
liked it,
it's
but I was like, I remember liking the one she recommended a lot more. So it's in the
light blue, not dark blue.
light blue. Okay, yes, I thought so. So try that one because I liked that one more than the chocolate salt. The blueberry was okay. So now I'm gonna try
Yeah.
the strawberry. They're called, someone asked in the chat to link them. They're just called RX bars. And one thing I love about them, um, Like the Fairlife protein shake is great because you're getting in your protein. It tastes delicious. I think it tastes delicious. It tastes a little synthetic, I'm not going to lie, but it's better than most things. But on the quality control, maybe not as good. It's still like a protein powder, right? So I really like, but I'll use those from a convenient standpoint too. And they just are an option for me. But one thing I love about the RX bar is it is made of whole foods. It's like egg whites, blueberries. It's just like 4 ingredients. And so I do love that because it's a kind of an easy option for on the go, but it doesn't feel as processed as some of the other options. So if you're someone that likes to have a daily protein shake, but you still need something to get protein in, that's a good option. So you're not just doing like 4 protein shakes in a day. So yeah, I love that. Okay, what do you love? What is something you love about where you live and maybe something you don't love?
So I pretty much grew up here. I've been here since I was 5 years old. So I grew up in Las Vegas. I love my community. I have my family here. So I have my mom, my dad, my brother. And I do love where I live. I absolutely hate how hot it is in summer. And I don't care how long you live here, you will never get used to 120-degree weather.
No, no.
Like
Yeah,
you just feel like you walk outside and you fry.
yeah. Oh, I don't think I could do that. I don't know what's worse, that or like 7 months of winter in Utah.
I don't think I could do that either. Like I'm a good, like I want an in between, like a really good
Yes,
in between.
same. It's hard to find that.
Mhm.
Okay, so what is something that drew you to Hungry Fitness as a kind of company and community?
Yeah, so I feel like so many programs now are very much one size fits all. This is the way we coach. This is how you do things. Or very much like quick fixes where it's like, yeah, I can have you lose 20 pounds in a month, but is it going to be sustainable? Are you going to be able to sustain those habits? Or are you going to end up right back into the place where you were before? Where I love how Hungry Fitness is very customized. There's not one size fits all program. Each client is given a very custom program based on where they're at, where their lifestyle's at, and how to sustain it long term. And again, it might not be the quick fix, but I always feel like it'll be like the forever fix because we're teaching you a way of life and not just how to get, 10 pounds off as quick as you possibly can, but also that you guys really, really dig deep into like biofeedback. Like it's not just about getting weight off, but like how are you sleeping? Where are hormones at? How's your energy? What's digestion look like? And that's really important to me just after working with so many women that if you can't sustain it and you don't feel good, then what's the point in going through it?
Yeah. And that's a big part of why you aligned from our perspective as well as a coach. So it was a easy transition in that way. And definitely a bonus add to our team. And kind of with that, what do you feel like, which credentials of yours do you feel have been the most helpful for you in coaching clients? Anything that's been really helpful to have?
Yeah. So my menopause certification, I kind of got it on a whim just because I was really curious. Women go through different stages of life. And it's been my most helpful. And actually, that's my majority of clients, that I've coached in the last probably 3 years. I would say 70% of my clients are perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause. And again, the game definitely changes within, those years of life. And a lot of the women that come to me are like, what worked here, it doesn't work anymore. And so I definitely feel like that has been super, super helpful.
Which menopause cert did you get? Someone just asked.
I have the Girls Gone Strong menopause certification.
How do you approach nutrition coaching for clients with varying fitness levels and goals? Like maybe a beginner, someone that's never tracked macros before, isn't very familiar with weight training, and then someone that's very advanced.
Yeah, so I really try to meet each client where they're at. If you've never tracked before, it's going to be a little bit of a slower process. And I really focus on small habits that build up to big ones. So maybe we just focus on tracking protein and fiber for a little while. Let's get you really consistent there, feeling good there. And then we add to it. Whereas someone that's, really, has advanced nutrition skills, they've been tracking for a long time, they just don't know where to go. You can kind of dig in and see like what they're eating and then set up a game plan from there as well. But then you can kind of, lay out the full plan right away.
Yeah, I love that. What is your coaching philosophy, would you say, when it comes to balancing fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle? And that could be different for every client you get, but in
Yeah,
general.
so I do think it's very different for everyone, but I'm all about balance. And I will always say that I'm not ever going to be the quick fix coach because I'm all about sustainability. But again, meeting each client where they're at. And I don't believe in, good foods or bad foods. I believe in foods that really help fuel our body and make us feel our best. And then fun foods, because food should be enjoyed. I think it's really important that there's no restrictions on food, but that there's balance with everything that we do. And that comes within like the habits that we do daily, our workouts, nutrition, that we shouldn't feel like, a program takes over your whole life and you can't go out to eat with your friends and you have to work out 3 hours a day or else you won't make progress. So there's balance within everything.
What is one of your favorite fun foods?
Oh, I love cookies. Love cookies.
What kind of cookie is your favorite? Because I love
A good sugar cookie from Crumble will forever have my heart.
Oh.
I hear that all the time and my husband's like, it literally tastes fake. And I'm like, I know.
Who
And
likes sugar cookies?
I love it so much.
So a certain flavor of frosting.
Yeah. Like the thick sugar cream cheese frosting.
Yeah, I do love a good cream cheese frosting. I'm a chocolate chip with salt, dark chocolate chip with salt. If you add oats, then it's even better.
And I do love a cinnamon raisin cookie. I like the weird cookies that no
Oh,
one
you do.
likes.
Do you call that a treat though? I'm like, that's like a granola bar in my
I
mind.
love it.
I like cinnamon and anything with cinnamon. Okay, what is one piece of advice you wish every client would take to heart?
That you don't have to be perfect. That consistency is going to be perfection every single time. I think a lot of clients and, even clients that I've worked with really recently, they'll text me and be like, I completely failed. I'm a failure. Like I feel so bad. And they go into this guilt thing. And I'm big on nothing is a mistake. Nothing's a problem. Like we just learn from that situation. So what did we learn from that and how can we do better next time? And I really, really make sure that they know, like, you never have to be perfect. I think I talk about that in almost every single check-in, but just that we're 1% better every single day and we prioritize it.
Yeah, and I just think that's such a growth mindset way to look at things. And not everyone is taught that. Like
Yeah.
we're taught that we can't fail or we are a failure. And I think that having a coach that emphasizes having a more growth mindset and using failure as just an opportunity to learn is such a game changer. So I love that, and that you support your clients in that, because I think it's, from our perspective, it seems like everyone has that mindset because we are very much in that mindset, but I'm always surprised at how many people really don't, and they aren't taught that like failure's good. It's an opportunity to learn and improve and grow, and it means you're trying something new usually.
Right.
And working on change. So it's almost like, I love it when clients go into coaching knowing they are going to fail and like expecting that, and then being ready to discuss and figure out a new strategy. So I love that.
And I usually start with that, honestly, with my client, like my new clients. I'm like, this is not going to be easy at first. This is all brand new and you won't be perfect. But every single time you need support or you feel like something didn't work out, let's talk about it and let's game plan for next time. So you can go in every situation just feeling very confident moving forward.
Yeah. And I think that's key for anyone listening that is doing or wants to do nutrition coaching, knowing that that is where we're coming from, and knowing that the best thing you can do is communicate with your coach, because the more we know, the more we can help you strategize. So, okay. How do you help clients stay motivated, especially when they hit plateaus or struggle with consistency?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like everyone, I mean, myself included, I would say all the time, I don't feel motivated. There's more days than not that I probably don't want to go to the gym or don't want to do the things. But I really dig into the why. And I try to dig into much deeper than, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to lose 20 pounds. Typically, there's a much more deeper why, whether it be a relationship with food, wanting to feel great naked in front of your husband again, wanting to feel confident and show your kids like a strong mom, just things like that. And then, you know, having that mindset shift of like, you're never always going to be motivated, but if you continue to show up for yourself, you're actually building a better relationship with yourself, which is one of the most important relationships you'll ever have. And again, there's going to be tons of days where you're not motivated, but as long as you keep showing up for yourself, again, you're going to get there. And I think that's completely normal. I don't think I've ever had one client that's been 1,000% motivated throughout the entire program. It just comes with the territory, but knowing that that happens and having a game plan when it does happen is definitely very helpful.
Yeah. Can you share a success story from your coaching experience that really stands out to you?
Yeah. I have one that really stands out. She's pretty recent. So she had an autoimmune disorder where she just couldn't, chronic fatigue. It was really hard for her to even get up like from bed. And it was really frustrating. I think when she signed up, she wanted instant results like everyone else. We live in this like Amazon mindset nowadays where it's yes. And I'm
Here.
going to lose 10 pounds as soon as you tell me what to do.
Mhm.
And it was really frustrating for her. And we had to very slowly build upon things. And she had about 80, I would say 80 to 100 pounds to lose. And it took a lot longer than we thought we did. But just by like implementing like, hey, this week, all we're focusing on is hitting our protein goal and getting in 5,000 steps a day. And every week we kind of just built upon that. And again, it was a lot slower. It was a lot of mindset work. But she was with me for about a year and a half and she got to that 80-pound goal. And I remember her crying, I was crying. It was like this big thing because we worked so hard together to get there. And it was not going to be a quick fix like she wanted, but it's going to be a forever fix at that point.
Those are just like why you show up, right? As a coach. What would you say your biggest why is on that note?
From what I came from, I think that's big too, is I never want to feel the way I did before, you know, I went through my own transformation. I lost 80 pounds at the time. I was very insecure. I was in a very bad relationship. And I always want my kids to see like how strong their mom is and that, you know, when you commit to things, you show up for yourself and just the confidence I have now. I think just thinking about to old Maurissa that I just would never want to go back there. And that's why I show up every day.
That's awesome. I love that. Some kind of fun questions. If you could only choose one exercise to do for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
I love a deadlift.
Oh, why? Tell us why.
There's just something about it. I feel maybe because it's my strongest lift too. So I feel really strong when I do it.
Now we need to hear your max deadlift.
It's not that it's 225. It was higher before I had my third baby. But I think it's my lift that I feel the strongest in. And I just love the movement of it. I will say I hate a back squat. I make myself do them, but I hate it every single time.
Yeah. I feel like it's usually if you love back squatting, you don't love deadlifting. And if you love deadlifting, some of that's like a little bit of like an anatomy thing, I think too.
I like all hinge movements.
Yeah, I've always loved squatting because it came easy to me, like with my femur length and mobility, and I never loved deadlifting. And now I've kind of, over the last decade, now I do love deadlifting. I think it took a lot of time to get that, and I actually don't like squatting as much now. It's so painful.
And that's my husband tells me that. So my husband is an MLB strength coach, or this was his first year done. And he actually works with like anatomy and rehab players when they get hurt and stuff. And he was like, the reason you don't like to squat is because your body is not made for squatting. Like,
yeah.
my calves are super tight, which a lot of it's my stuff that I can work on.
But some of that even comes down to like femur length and just where your body is at the bottom of a squat. Like I can get, So, and usually that's the case. If you aren't as good at squatting just with your anatomy, then you're usually built a little bit more to be able to deadlift. From what I've noticed from just CrossFit and competing in that way, I'm just paying attention to people's bodies.
Yeah.
That's fun. What's, with your husband being a strength coach and you having your background, do you guys like to geek out on like what's a topic that you guys would like to talk about, or do you kind of just don't talk about things?
No, we do. So he knows nothing about nutrition. at all. Like he has no background in nutrition. I absolutely love and geek out on nutrition. He is the smartest person I know when it comes to exercise science and anatomy. Like it's wild. It's still like he talks and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And this is what I do as well. But it's actually pretty cool because even with clients that come on, especially with certain like athletic goals or injuries, like he's amazing with anatomy and injuries. I actually will pull him in and have him help me build out programs. And he does the same for me with like athletes. He'll be like, hey, will you look at this nutrition and just tell me what you think? So it's actually, we didn't mean for it to happen that way, but it's been really cool.
That's awesome. What are 3 things you always have in your gym bag?
Ooh, I have face wipes. I am big. I hate when my face feels like greasy or sweaty at the end of a workout. Like I don't mind sweating during, but face wipes are always my number one. I always have a hydro jug with me everywhere I go. I have hand sanitizer all the time because I feel like every time I leave the gym, I get sick, and chapstick.
What's your go-to chapstick brand?
Just Burt's Bees.
Oh yeah, I like it. Okay, last question. What's the best advice you've ever received, either in life or coaching? This is like a hard question, so it doesn't have to be the best, but what's one piece that you've received?
To be honest, before I met my husband, I was a little bit more of a fixed mindset person. I think just my background and everything I had gone through before I met him, I was very, I wouldn't say a pessimist, but I was just, things happen and it is the way it is. And he gave me a book and I can't think about it on the top of my head right now. I'll have to tell you guys later, but it really taught me about growth mindset. And that's where I came from with my coaching too, is that you never fail. Everything is just a learning experience. Oh, I think you froze.
Oh, like Michaela's thinking for a long time.
I know. She wasn't moving when I was talking.
That was weird.
She
Oh,
just
she's
got off.
weird.
Is she back?
Yeah, I think she's back. That was really great, Maurissa.
Sorry, I totally, my whole computer just shut down there for a minute. What happened?
You were posed in a
Like,
really
right on
great position though. You were like posed like this, just frozen like that.
It was like right on the cliffhanger of what your best advice was. So did everyone else hear it or was it?
Yeah, we heard it. It was good.
Okay. Say it again for me.
It was just that nothing is a failure. Everything is something you can learn from and grow from. So really focusing on like just a growth mindset, and that my husband really was the person that taught me that. And I want to think of the book, but I can't off the top of my head.
Is it Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck?
Yes.
Love that book.
It is so good. I have it. I always still read through it all the time because even when I get in really like crazy times in my life, I just think it's so important to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to come out of this. I'm going to be 10 times better and I'm going to grow from this situation. And even client experiences, with challenges that I experience with clients, like sometimes they'll get frustrated that maybe, like I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm going to learn it. And now I'm going to know so much more. So
I love that. I think I was actually just talking to a friend about that this week and how if we are in that victim mindset, where it's someone else's fault that we're not succeeding, or it's someone else's fault that we're in the circumstance that we're in, we are giving that person the power, right? And so if we can take ownership for whatever circumstance we're in, which sometimes is hard to do, like got to get a little creative sometimes if you really feel like you don't have any ownership in it. But what that does is it gives you power to think through solutions and problem solve and make change. And so I think as hard as that can be, it's so empowering to just take ownership of whatever it is. And then you have the powers in your hands to change your life, really. So
it can be very humbling at times, but you definitely grow from it.
For sure. And it's also helpful to have a coach that can help you with that too. So I love that that's a big part of who you are and your why. So thank you so much for doing the Q&A and letting us put you on the spot. And for those of you that are interested in one-on-one coaching, Maurissa is taking clients right now. And we're so excited to have her as part of the team. So tag her in the groups on the app if you guys have a question for her. Follow her on social media. Do you want to give your social media name?
Yep, it's just Maurissa_Candelaria.
Yes. And if you guys want to learn more about her, bio is on the website, hungryfitness.co/MAURISSA. Maurissa. And she'll be on future calls. So you'll be learning from her as we go as well. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope you all have a fantastic week. And for those of you doing HF Physique, keep us updated on how week 2 is going and we will be in touch. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.